Oh yeah, I probably should do that. Get the old YouTube action going.
It's not on yet. Oh, it's on now.
I like to watch it, just in case somebody sends a message.
Yep, yep. And it says good. Stream is healthy.
That's what I try to tell my doctor.
Yep, the stream is healthy. All right. Um, and while we're on here, we're already streaming. So if there were somebody, well, on the YouTube stuff, they'll catch this stuff early. We're still on for Alien Week with Podcast Arcade for the 18th, right? Or the 19th or the 24th or something like that.
Yes.
Okay,
The
just
week I'm
making sure.
actually in town, so
Yeah, me too. That's the one. That's the week after I come back in town.
same here.
So, all right. Can I get a check on your end?
Check, check, check.
Perfect. All right. I think we are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to Geekvice episode 175, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna apologize now for if I mute myself immediately, trying the to mute out any of my cough. Um, Woke up Saturday morning with the sore throat, and it has not gone away. Probably because I'm drinking the wrong stuff to make it go away. But hey,
And he's wearing his Flash T-shirt, hoping he could change the timeline to where he's not sick.
that's right. That is right. It's possible. Anything's possible. So I'm I'm the Flash, man. I'm the Flash. So, what is going on in the world of Kip?
Well, it's not on the show notes, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. And that is, we just finished a documentary series on Netflix called The Keepers. Have you heard of this?
I just saw it tonight on Netflix. Like, I haven't watched it, but I just saw it, like, because it's a Netflix original thing, right?
Correct. Holy cow, was it captivating. We started watching it Friday night. Here it is Sunday, and we're done. We
Wow.
knocked out all 7 episodes. They're hour episodes, so it's 7 hours of TV watching. Um, Phenomenal, really. Sad, pisses you off in places, but worth the watch.
Very
It
cool.
it's we'll just give you a quick synopsis. Back in 1969, a nun named Sister Kathy Sesnick was murdered, and it was just basically, well, it was unsolved. And then 20 years later, almost 30 years later, one of the students at the school she taught at came forward and started talking about abuse from the priest at that school, and then it just snowballed from there. And what a tangled web it weaves. It's I'm not going to give anything away, but holy shit, that's all I can say about that.
Wow. Wow. We'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah, it was tonight we were looking for something. We were going to watch a movie, and that this will get into topic later. But we were looking to watch a movie tonight because that's what we usually do on Sunday nights. And the and Amber was flipping through the recent stuff on Netflix, and I saw that come up, and I'm like, I hadn't heard anything about that, so I was like, I need to probably go check that out. So good to
Yeah,
know.
if you're a person who um, cannot wrap your mind around the Catholic Church doing something wrong, you probably should not watch this.
Mm.
If you have an open mind about the way the world works, then go ahead and watch. You'll be fine.
And
But
that's definitely something that I need to watch because I have no problems wrapping my head around evil, overpowered corporations, and we can. That's a topic for a whole nother time. But
right,
yes, I'll have to check that out, and then maybe we can have a big discussion on that. Um, Before we get into our other stuff, I should probably go through some of the announcements that we have here. First of all, I want to thank any of the listeners here that went and supported or helped out our brethren, our podcasting brethren in the podcast arcade on their charity event with U-Turn yesterday. I haven't heard the official numbers yet on what they did, what they kind of raised, but I know the biggest thing they wanted to do was raise awareness, and I know that there's just getting people uh, to talk about it and understand what U-Turn does and some of the charities that they help up there in the Omaha area is always a good thing. So thanks for any of our listeners that went and helped them out or um, was able to either stop by or was able to donate. So thank you for your support there. Now the other announcements we've got a back by popular demand. We have a what do we call this? An event week, um,
yes.
a schedule, podcast arcade synergy week. Um, we are going for we did Sasquatch. What it was probably about a year ago, wasn't it?
Now it was like October or
Okay,
November.
so like 6 months ago. Well, we're gonna do another one, and it's coming up here next month. We're the week. What is this? Let me actually get the what is the Monday because I think it's oh dang it, the
June
close
19th.
open June 19th or June 18th because that's when we're gonna record. June 18th through the 24th. That's a Sunday to Monday. That whole week is going to be the Podcast Arcade's Alien Week. So we're going to talk all about aliens. I'm even going to we're this time we're going to include in Geekvice Gaming in this because I've got alien video games that I can play. So that is definitely going to hit our plate. So tune in here, and it's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah, something
So
like that.
in about 3 weeks we will be we'll be talking about aliens on this show.
That's
That
right. And I'll even talk about my actual UFO sighting that I had
Oh
back in
yeah,
2012.
there you go, there you go. That will be great and fun, and you can tune into all the different shows on the podcast arcade, and you can check those out on thepodcastarcade.com. So
Easy for
go,
you to say.
yeah, exactly. Go check that out. Go check out that website. Check out the other arcade podcasts and go listening to their alien topics. I know one of them is going to be Transformers. The new Transformers movie opens that week, and I believe at least one of the shows is going to be talking about that because Transformers are aliens. Uh, the other thing that we want to shout out for is is in July, the first part of July. I believe it's even the first weekend, July 7th through the 9th, is O Comic Con up in Omaha. And that man right across the table from me, Mr. Kip, and myself will be there, along with my family and my kids. So we're gonna do the whole shenanigans. We will be up there for the whole weekend. I will be at O Comic Con at least one day because I think we're gonna do the zoo the other day. But we're turning it into a family vacation to head up there and hang out with the other podcast arcade guys. Um, Daydream Instruction Manual is kind of the podcast host for that. Eddie, our podfather, is a part of. I'm assuming. I guess I can say this. He's part of somebody who's putting this stuff together. So
He's I guess head of the podcasting part of that Comic Con.
that's what it's. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
guess that's the best way to put it. He's the
yeah,
podfather of even old Comic Con.
exactly. He's gonna need to get some business cards that say Podfather on them.
He's gonna
Um,
make an offer you can't refuse.
but you could find more information about O Comic Con at ocomiccon.com, and you can get information on different artists, celebrities, and whatnots that will be there. And you can
Other than
also,
more,
yeah, other than myself, because I'm a celebrity, I'm famous, everybody loves me. Um, the You can, if you make it up there, there'll be a whole podcasting area where you can come and meet other podcasters, talk to us. There will be opportunities for live podcasting up there. So, and I think there might even be a tabletop video game cabinet there, maybe. Um, I think that's still in the works, but I think Eddie's trying to make that still happen. So, um, yeah, come check it out. O Comic Con, that's July 7th through the 9th. So, come join us. So, yeah, there's those things. Now, on to the real show.
dun dun dun.
We, so let's talk a little bit about what you got to have another gaming outing on Fridays, and if there's anyone out there listening that wants to play board games with Kip, you can find him at Tabletop Games and Hobbies on Metcalf every Friday afternoon, because he has a job that he gets out early on Friday afternoons. So
That's right, and it's been awesome. We started off where all we were doing was playing Scythe, which is pretty cool in itself. And then we decided it's time that perhaps we bring out games that we have purchased but have yet gotten to the table. So our games of shame, as we call them. So this week it was my game of shame. Well, one of my games of shame. I hate to admit how many of those I actually have, but it's one that I've been telling people I wanted to play for, I don't know, at least a year now, probably. And so we got it to the table, and it is dun 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 Black Fleet. There's the box. If you're listening to this on the iTunes, just picture a cartoony looking pirate and a ship in the background. There you go. That's the box cover. It's designed by Sebastian Bleasdale. It is for 3 to 4 players. It says the age range is 14 plus. I think that's a little high. I think at least your oldest would be able to play this.
yeah,
And he's what, 7, 8?
8.
So I think 14 plus is a little high. And 60-minute playtime, which I think that's pretty accurate. It took us about an hour to play it. Rules are really easy to pick up. So we dove in and played. And of course I didn't win, but that's okay. So Black Fleet, you are basically a merchant, head of a merchant fleet, I guess is the best way to put it, in the Caribbean. And you are um, basically picking up goods and delivering them for cost. You also command a pirate ship that goes out and steals other people's goods and gets money for those. And then you're taking your doubloons that you earn and you are buying upgrades to your ship. Like here's one that costs 8 doubloons, and it does stuff like makes your ship more badass. And what happens there is you got to go through and pick up all 4 of the upgrades to your ship. And they start with one costs 5 doubloons, one costs 8 doubloons, one costs 11, and one costs 14. You can buy them in any order. You can only buy one at a time, so you have to earn all these doubloons, buy the cards that upgrade your ship. Helps you pick up doubloons even faster once you make all the upgrades. And the whole reason you're doing this is you are trying to pay the ransom for the governor's daughter. And here's the governor's daughter's card. And she is worth 10 doubloons on the easy game. There's also one where...
she's worth 10 doubloons when she's easy.
Yeah. And when she's playing hard to get, she's worth 20.
Ooh.
So you can play with the 10 or the 20 doubloon governor's daughter, depending on how much longer you want the game to go on, that kind of thing. And basically, you command 2 ships. Dun, dun, dun. Nice little plastic models they created. They're pretty awesome. This is the merchant ship, which you can tell because it holds 3 delivery cubes in it. Oops, I keep going off the screen. And you also command the little pirate ship.
Nice.
Denoted by the cannon at front, and it only holds 1 goods cube. And you are dealt... Let's see if I can find them quickly. Yay! Movement cards. Da-da-da-da. And they have 3 ships on there. The top one will be either yellow or purple, and that is the Navy that everybody gets to control. And you get some nice yellow and purple models for those as well.
Nice.
And it tells you how many spaces you can move the Navy ship. In this case, it's 2. And then the next one down says you can move your pirate ship 3 and your merchant ship 5. So this movement card, you play it, and you move your ships around. And the goal is take your merchant ship, pick up some goods, deliver it to another harbor, and then each harbor, like in this case, here's part of the board. Each good has a value assigned to it. Yellow in this harbor is worth 2 each, so if I made all 3 of those cubes in, I get 6 doubloons. You got to remember, back in the 1800s, 6 doubloons was a lot of cash. So you're basically racing back and forth trying to sell all these and earn money. Your pirate ship is racing around and this takes place in the Caribbean. So your pirate ship is racing around the Caribbean, ambushing the other guy's merchant ship. And when they do, they take one of their cubes from them and puts it in their ship. And they find an island that has, here we go, a little shovel with a number on it. And that's how many doubloons you get for burying that good on that beach. If your pirate ship takes, it can only take one at a time. If your pirate ship happens to take the last good cube from another guy's merchant ship, you actually sink that merchant ship, and you get 2 doubloons for doing that. But all is not lost for the guy who lost his ship. Basically, it just comes off the board, and then when their turn comes around, they put it back on the board, load it back up, and start again. The Navy ships, you control them to move them around trying to catch the other person's pirate ship. And when you do, you steal their cube and you sink them. And if you are capable of doing that on your turn, you earn 2 doubloons for controlling the Navy well enough for them to sink a pirate ship. And once again, not all is lost. If your pirate ship gets sunk, your next turn comes around, you get to put it right back on the board. So it's not totally cutthroat, but it is a little bit because you can sink their ships, steal their goods, make money off of their misfortune, basically. Um, that's basically the gameplay. The cool thing about this game is the artwork is it's kind of cartoony, but it's kind of cool as well. And the the deck that I was talking about, the upgrades, if you put them in a line from lowest number to highest number, they actually connect and make one big picture.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
And like I said, the artwork is kind of cartoony but fun. You also can earn fortune cards that have these kind of backs on them, and they do things like this one's called Lucky Wind. You can move any ship belonging to your opponent 2 spaces on your turn. So if their pirate ship's getting too close to you, you play that card and you can move them somewhere else. 2 spaces anyway. There's a bunch of islands in this Caribbean that you have to go around. There's a card that lets you move through an island. I guess you get to do a little dry land surfing in your merchant boat. But so there's all these cool things that you can attach and let you do some cool things. Also let your opponent do some cool things that will end up costing you, like getting your boat sunk. I played a 3-player game, so that always means one person is probably getting the brunt of the take that, and that person just happened to be me.
Of
So
course it was.
yeah. So that's the way that goes.
I know the
Uh,
two people you were playing with. That doesn't surprise me at all.
yeah. Well, Celeste won every game we played Friday, so
Did you really?
yeah. So, like, here's the doubloons. These are gold, so they're 5. We also have silver ones that are worth 1. The cool thing about it is they're actually metal. Hear
Oh,
that?
really?
That's the
Yeah.
points. So I thought that was a nice touch.
That's very
The
cool.
the miniatures for the boats, they're really cool. I like those.
Yeah, those are really well done.
Yeah, they're really well done. Yeah, the cubes are just wooden cubes, so I'm totally good with that. I don't need anything too fancy there. Um, Pretty quick to learn. Mess around, do what you want to do. Get sunk, sink some people, earn some doubloons, purchase some upgrades, and then once you get all your upgrades, you finally get to pay the ransom for the governor's daughter and win the game. Um, the person who ends up with the black colored ships is considered the first player. So say player number 2 actually is able to purchase the governor's daughter. Play continues on through the entire round, so everybody gets the same amount of turns. And if 2 players end up with being able to purchase her, then there's some tiebreakers and all this kind of stuff, which I was actually able to tie, but the tiebreakers went against me, so I ended up not winning again, but that's fine.
But at
That's
least
the
you
way
were close.
I was close. And then there was another game we played where I was close, and yeah, but that's the way it is. So, Black Fleet, if you like the pickup and delivery system, but you don't want to get into something as meaty as Merchants and Marauders or Firefly or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to play with your kids or whatever, I would pick up Black Fleet.
Nice.
It's perfect. I think it's a great family game. Yeah, it's a little bit cutthroat, but it's not. It's more of a gotcha than anything. It's not like, oh, sunk your boat, it's out of the game forever. No, it comes right back in.
Right.
So it's not like you have to teach your kids about death while you're playing this game or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It's by Space Cowboys. I think they're the guys that did Splendor. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
if you like Splendor, you see how quality the components and the cards are.
Yeah.
Same thing in Black Fleet. These cards are pretty heavy, good card stock. The boats and everything are cool. The coins are metal. The rules are fast. Learning it's easy. Plays only an hour. I think it's pretty awesome just for that. So if you want to give it a try, I recommend Black Fleet.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, and I kind of like what you said there about it being, that it's more of a gotcha and less of a like cutthroat, like just trying to take somebody out of a game completely, because that kind of leads perfectly into a game that we played a little bit yesterday and a little bit tonight, and that was we got to play some more of Mice and Mystics, which I'm gonna have a post on it. We actually just stopped playing right before recording this, enough to put the kids in bed, and then for me to get down and get all this stuff ready, which is why it took us a little bit longer than normal to get on here. But in that game, we so the first time we played, we had a rough go of it, and it didn't quite work out because I didn't know the rules. Once I understood the rules and watched some videos on the rules, this game is a blast, super fun, and I'm gonna do more of a full review probably next week or the week after, and I'll have the box down here and I'll show off some of the different stuff to it and talk a little bit more about it. Um, but the the kids are enjoying this a lot, and I've really started to enjoy it now that we're a few chapters in, and that's what they call these. It's kind of like a campaign. It's built around a very in-depth story. So there's lots of reading parts to it, but the story is so good that the kids don't even mind the reading part. Tonight, when we were looking for our Sunday night movie to watch, um, I gave the kids the option of watching a movie or playing more of Mice and Mystics, and they chose playing more of Mice and Mystics.
How cool is that?
So that makes you feel good. It was a blast. We got through this, I guess, yesterday, or maybe it was this morning. We got through chapter 2, and we started the third chapter tonight. And they've even gotten so comfortable with the game that they can even help set up the game, which is good because there's a lot of setup to it, a lot of little pieces that you got to get out, get equipment cards to the right people and whatnot. So it's kind of nice to be able to have them help get all that stuff together. But what happened tonight was, so in the game, when a character dies or receives enough wounds, they don't die, they get captured and they come back. But tonight we played, my oldest, Reese, actually played with two characters, and my youngest one wanted to play with two characters because that's how easy the gameplay is that, yeah, a 5-year-old can actually have two characters and not feel overwhelmed. So it's not like Legends of Dritz where you have, one character has maybe 5 or 6 action cards that they can do and different abilities and things that you need to keep track of and use in the right places. It's a lot simpler and more streamlined, and but it still relies on dice rolls and things like that to win. But Reese actually had both of his characters captured. Um, we're about halfway through the third chapter, and both of his guys were captured. And luckily, we were able to free them because the easy thing is on the tile, you can, once you defeat all the minions, then the guys that were captured, they come back with their equipment still intact, their base equipment still intact. So any additional things that they have are gone, but they come back, so you get to keep playing with them, which is nice. Uh, but Reese was not real happy that his characters were gone, and it was dicey there for. I mean, there was a point where, well, even now, the two characters that are left, both are 2/3 of the way down. They each have three hit points, basically three hearts, and two of those three hearts on each of those characters are gone. So they're they are hurt. We are hurting really bad. We've got a couple of more that have come back now. Now that Reese's they come back at full health, but we still have a lot of gameplay to go, and so there's a good chance we're gonna lose a couple more. So we're gonna see how that goes. But yeah, he was not real happy. He was really upset that his guys were gone, and really kind of pissed at the way it was rolling because I was basically. So the gameplay is that each person has one character, and you roll for the bad guys as well on that are attacking your character. So it's you everybody's involved, and the bad guys move in a very um, programmed way. But since I didn't have any characters because the two kids wanted to play with two characters each, I just was rolling for the bad guys, and man, was I rolling really, really well. And I so much so I looked at Reese. I'm like, I swear the odds on these dice are the same. I'm just rolling good, and um, so it was really kind of, even though they weren't out of the game completely, he was still really torn up about it. So
So his guys are captured. Is he just sitting there waiting for you guys to do something then?
yeah,
Oh,
yes, he
guy.
is, but we still, since it's a cooperative game, you're still talking strategy. You're still trying to, like, whoa, what if you do this? And at on this particular spot, we had two archers, and at that time, we only had one like melee bad guy, two bad archers, and one melee bad guy that were coming after us. And so it was like, okay, well, do we take out this guy? And if we take out that guy, how what are, is that gonna make it? Is that gonna give us an advantage to taking out the other ones? And it was trying to figure out what order we needed to do this, and could we get a damn roll to work out in our favor. So yeah, there was even one point where Conley rolled. He used a special ability to roll more dice, and he rolled three dice, and he was trying to attack somebody with a melee weapon, so he needed to roll three swords. He just needed to roll swords, any number on the three dice, but he just needed to roll swords. And he rolled all three bows and arrows, which when
Oh.
when you're a melee character doesn't work. So he was kind of upset about that. But the next character up was his, and was an archer, and so he's like, "All right, I can do this. I'm gonna roll three bows this time." Nope, rolled three swords.
Oh.
And so it was like, we can't buy a break here. So it's a really fun game. I'm gonna go in a lot more in depth with it than next week because you know it deserves a full discussion, and it'll take a little while to go through all of it because it's an in-depth game, but I definitely recommend it. So stay tuned next week for more of that. But so part of the reason why we got so much gaming in this weekend was my wife decided, and she decided this a while ago. She was going to go on a girls' weekend day trip to Las Vegas. So she left Saturday morning at. I had to have her at the. We left for the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. Her and her girlfriend, one of her girlfriends, got on the plane and flew to Vegas. It had to have a layover in LA.
They're going the
So,
wrong way.
yeah, flew from Kansas City to LA and then from LA to Vegas. And that was all because 7 hours, 8 hours before they were supposed to leave, their flight got canceled.
Yikes.
So they were supposed to have a direct flight from Kansas City to Vegas through Spirit Airlines. If anyone out there is listening and is employed by Spirit Airlines, I am sorry, but they canceled her flight 8 hours before they she was supposed to take off. Not really good.
No, that sounds horrible.
The at least the nice thing about what Spirit did was once she was able to finally get a hold of them on the phone, they did book them a flight through Delta and paid for the flight and gave them a voucher for another flight on Spirit, for free. So they basically got to fly out there for free, but you know, 8 hours before you're supposed to leave, having to go through and do all that is not really a good feeling.
No.
Their flight back was okay. That one didn't get canceled, so at least they were able to fly back on time. But they flew back. They left. Uh, what did they leave? They left at like 12:30 Kansas City time. No, 12:30 their time, Vegas time.
So two
And
thirds of the city.
yeah, and flew back here. It flew back to Kansas City and basically got home at 6 o'clock this morning. So they didn't sleep for, they slept about 6 hours in 2 days, and that was
Oh.
you know. So it was a rough trip, but they had fun. They ended up doing. The whole reason they went out there was to go see a Celine Dion concert, because Celine Dion, and it was somebody Amber really wanted to go see, and her girlfriend Hannah wanted to go see, and so they did that and had a good time. But it was really kind of interesting because neither of them had really done something like this before. So it left me with the kids for all weekend. Well, not all weekend, but for all day Saturday for us to do all kinds of fun stuff. And so I actually got to play a lot of games with the kids. So we played some board games. We played quite a bit of Mice and Mystics, but then we also played FIFA 17 on the Xbox 360. And yes, I still have an Xbox 360. No, I do not have next gen stuff, but there is a possibility that that's coming. Don't tell my wife that. But Assassin's Creed's got a new game coming out, and I don't know that my computer can handle it. So I either have to build a new computer or buy a new console. I haven't decided which yet, but that's for down the road. Um,
Is that
but
November?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's it. We'll find out more from E3, which is in a couple weeks as well, I believe.
Well,
So
start saving your pennies now.
yeah, exactly. But the fun part was actually getting to sit down and play. There's not a whole lot of games out there that are more than two players, but FIFA is one that my kids really like playing, which, for those of you that don't know, FIFA is a soccer game, so it's a sports game. And both my kids love soccer, I love soccer, and so we we got FIFA 17 for Reese, my oldest one, for his birthday in April, and he's been playing it. Well, they've both been playing it a ton. And it's kind of fun watching this because my youngest one is 5, my oldest one is 8. When Reese was 5, we were playing games. We tried to play some sports games, but he just didn't have the um, gaming understanding enough to really be able to play those games well. Conley, at 5 years old, though, he has no problems. And watching him play and seeing some of the stuff that he does is just a lot of fun. I mean, first of all, just sitting and watching these two play a video game is entertaining in and of itself because they get so into it. But actually sitting down and playing with them, which I haven't done in a long time, usually because I'm, doing something else around the house that needs to get done while they're playing video games before bed. Uh, but since it was just the three of us here, we got to play some, and that I gotta say, that was a lot of fun. For anyone out there that has kids and they want to their kids play video games, I definitely recommend sitting down and just playing whatever it is that they're playing. Play it with them. You get to learn a lot about the kids, and you can have a little fun and get to experience. It's a little bit more bonding thing. Now the kids will, you know, well, one, my oldest one now calls me Aaron, so that's kind of funny. So I'm no longer dad anymore. I'm Aaron. Um, but mainly because I think at one point in the game I screwed up and did something stupid, and I made the mistake of going, well, you done messed up there, Aaron. So now they call me Aaron. Um, the but just playing and seeing the stuff, getting to teach them not only gaming tactics but also a little bit of soccer strategy in the game. It's a lot of fun. They get to they get to make fun of dad when he does something dumb. So that's always good. I get to make fun of them when they do something stupid. But then the smile that comes across my face when you see the 5-year-old steal the ball from somebody, dribble halfway down the field, and score. And we're playing on a difficulty level, and I wouldn't let them play with lopsided teams. These are evenly matched teams, but watching him be able to read the opponents and how they act, because they're still computer opponents, there's a limit to their programming. He was still able to do it. At 5 years old, he was able to know, hey, if I move. You remember Techno Bowl back in the day?
Oh yeah, yeah. Bo Jackson.
Yeah, so you remember with Tecmo Bowl, like if you moved one direction, like everybody would move that same way, and
Oh
it would
yeah.
leave holes to where you could go the other direction. Um, Computer games have gotten a little bit more, or video games have gotten more complex, but there's still that glitch. It's gotten a little bit smaller, but if you move at a character and you move just a little bit out of where he's supposed to be defending, he will stop defending and go find somebody else to defend. And Conley would sit there and find that line on the field. Whether it was on accident or purpose, I don't know, but he did it multiple times, so I'm going to say it's on purpose. And he would bounce back and forth along this defensive line that caused the defenders to do this whole, like, the defender on the top side of the screen would go up, and the defender on the bottom of the screen would come at him, and then he would move the other direction, and they would move back, and they would just move back and forth, and he would find that hole in between defenders like that. And you're like, this kid's 5. So it's just like, it just made me smile, and I had to laugh, and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. I like when this is uh, I like seeing this happen. So I gotta say, I recommend it. Not just board games, video games. Do stuff with your kids. Don't just ignore them and make them deal with stuff on their own. Actually get in there and play games with them, spend time with them, and develop them into something that you can be proud of down the road and in the future. So that's my little PSA for tonight. How about that?
Well, all right then.
Which really doesn't affect you at all because you don't have any kids. But
No.
think of just think of this: the hobby that you love so much is developing the youth of that could be leading our country someday. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah. So that's what I got for tonight. You got anything else you want to throw out there?
I think I am done for this evening.
It is. It has been a long week, a long weekend. Work has been crazy. Home has been crazy. But we're looking forward to the next weeks to come. We're going to have a good show for us here. Don't forget about our stuff that we got coming up. We got Alien Week coming up. We got O Comic Con coming up. And we got lots of other fun stuff. Next week we'll talk more about Mice and Mystics, and I'll show all the little miniatures and the gameplay and the story that's involved. I also want to throw out there, stay tuned for more Geekvice gaming stuff because I picked up a Humble Bundle, or picked up some stuff off of the humblebundle.com and got some cheap games that have been out for a while, but games that I've kind of been wanting to play. So stay tuned for more stuff on there. You'll see some new games coming up on there soon. So
Sweet.
that's all I got for tonight, guys. So be sure to check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. We need to talk to Norm from Cheers. We haven't gotten a new movie review in a while. So
Yeah, actually, we have. I just haven't posted it.
so guess what? We're gonna have a new movie review from Norm from Cheers.
Yeah, he reviewed the movie Slight, so I need to get that up there.
Slight. I don't even know that I've heard of that movie.
I believe it's a horror movie.
Oh, that's probably why I hadn't heard of it. So go check out the blog geekvice.blogspot.com. Movie reviews up there, and that's where you can also find past episodes of this show. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow us. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Best way to get there is tiny.cc/geekvice. You can also follow us on Twitter. That man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. And of course, you can always reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.